Kuphina kuphi emakhaya amadolobheni asekomplasta khona lapho ubukela khona SABC 1 sabona ke bukele sitamukele kufuthi ehlelweni lakho Yilungelo Lakho lokuqala ngca kulomnyaka wa 2023 sithi ke happy new year to everybody out there sesembe ukuthi ke nemba holiday lamnanze nalaphephile mbukele lesikhathi ke somnyaka lomusha lesi ke isikhathi lesimatima kubathengi labanengi labanye ke bathi iJanuary fever the longest month of the year sikhathi lapho ke bathengi ke babuye kubo Christmas bede ngisho nendibilishi emakhikhini abo ngenza bayithi ke bachithe yonke imali edzingweni tabo tema holiday ingabe wenda njani ke uma yonke imali yakho sayidliwe tidzingo tema holiday abo Christmas asasive ke nangumbiko ke ucophe nobathembu Zansi.
Iholide zeChristmas lixesha lemincili nothando ixesha lokuba nentsapho nezihlobo ikwalixesha likaxakeka lemicimbi imitshato imigidi neminye emininzi yonke lonto ke ifuna imali kulapho ke abaninzi bechithe yonke into bebeyisebenzele phakathi enyakeni abanye bachithe de kungabikho neyokubuyela emsebenzini emva kweholide xesha elo umuntu esajanyelwe zimali zerenti imali yesikolo ukuphangela nezinye izinto ezingundoqo emva kweholide
ixesha likaDisemba lixesha lokonwaba abantu bacinga ngenhliziyo hayi ngengqondo as a result imali yaphuma iphume aphela umuntu sethatha nakule kaJanuary ngoba masikhumbule imali yokuba funeka siyisebenzise ngoJanuary siyipeya nge-15 kaDisemba so inyanga ibende ke ngoku kaJanuary ngoba iqale nge-16 kaDisemba
kuthi ke kwakuphele lo xesha lenkcitho nokudyiwanza lweholide ingqondo zibuye umuntu acinge ukuba kanene kukho inyanga ekuthiwa nguJanuary inyanga iba ngathi ubude bayo boluliwe ngenxa yentswelo mali neefowuni zikhala rhoqo ziakhawunti nezikwelite ezifuna ukuhlawulwa
ngoDisemba zininzi into ezenzekayo yho sinemigidi funa sigidile mhlambe umunye ungayazi nemitshato nemingcwabo evele randomly nje so iyasiphazamisa kuphela unganamali but ke in as much as ba ubuplanile lo mali ubuyiplanile if kuvela into ngoku uthatha kwakule ubunayo then ke uphele ngoJanuary
Ngelo xesha isimo sepokotho sibi abaninzi babhenela kwiimali-mboleko ezizokube zichaphakile ngeli xesha lokuqala konyaka abanye ezo zikweliti ziboyelise nangakumbi kwisimo sezimali esikekeleyo kodwa kukho izinto abathengi abangazenza bengazoyeliselanga
ixesha elininzi abathengisi okanye ibhanki okanye ababolekisi ngemali lento ke sithi ke ngesilungu credit providers bayanikezela ngento ekuthiwa i-payment break okanye i-payment holiday so abantu into banoyenza bangathatha i-advantage yalonto leyo umuntu aqonda okay ngoJanuary instead of bandiyoboleka and mhlawumbe ndixakekile ndixinekile mandithethe nomthengisi wam ndijonge kuba zeziphi options ezikhoyo for bandiyithathe le payment break ndingazibhatali izavenge zam ngoJanuary ndawuqhubeka ke ngoFebruary
Abathengi bayakhuthazwa ukuba benze zonke inzame zokungazintywilisi ematyaleni koko bazame indlela zokulawula ngendlela imeko yempatho mali
save from January zininzi indlela zo save imigalelo you save ebank zininzi indlela zo save budget savings and budget is very important
look at where you wasting what is it that you wasting money on and then go about how do I get rid of what is unnecessary
amatyala masingawabaleki focus ubhatala ityala lakho so that uyafuna musuphuma etyaleni sufuna ukuba sisigqila setyala
Umntu athi nokuba uyanyanzeleka ukuba athathe ityala ibe lityala elakhayo nelinikezwe liziko elisemthethweni ukanti abathengi bakhuthazwa ukuba baphathe imali kakuhle bangene kumaphulo okonga nezinye indlela zokonga imali ukulungiselela amaxesha abunje Nobathembu Zansi Yilungelo Lakho
Asibonge lo mbiko ke manje ukhuluma kabanti ngekuthi ke wenda njani kumelana nalesimo lesinjena ke emaphaketheni akho asasimukela tivakashi tethu sina Gerald Mwandiambira ubuya ke eSugar Creek Wealth. He's also an independent financial expert. Siphinze sibe na Kabelo Teme lovela ke ehhovisi le Credit Ombudsman. A very good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
I certainly hope that you had enjoyed the holidays, eh?
No, we definitely did. 2023 is 20 set me free.
Oh yes.
Wow.
Ah, there we go. I love
It's a
it.
year.
I'm adopting that. I'm adopting that slogan.
It's a year when we need to stop being money slaves and become free in terms of being money masters, because just like we're seeing, it's been rough. From COVID till now,
Yeah.
you know,
We've
the
been going through the most,
2020s
man.
have had us in a grip.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
2023, let's set ourselves free.
And speaking of being a money slave, what do you think causes that? Because the month of January in particular causes so much stress and anxiety for so many consumers and just about everybody, and not knowing what to do next. And it's not as if we did not know that January would come as we're splashing in December. So what do you think causes that?
Look, I think it's because we don't like looking at ourselves in the mirror. In order for you to be set free from debt, in order for you to be set free from financial bondage, you need to look in the mirror and see how bad it is. Just like someone January now, everybody's joining the gym. But
My resolutions.
But they don't want to jump on the scale to see how bad it is. They just want to estimate. You know, to really lose weight, you look at the scale. Every day you do something. Same thing with your money. Every month you do something to set yourself free.
Yes.
You know, link by link, set yourself free from that chain of financial bondage.
Right,
And
right.
number one is we don't like advice, because Imaliam, why should I listen to you?
Right.
It's my money. But we need to actually cross that bridge of understanding that we don't know it all, and the more advice you can get, the more able you are to free yourself from the chains of financial bondage and being a financial bond servant who's working for a shareholder who's enjoying income from your contribution and decides when they want to pay you a dividend if they feel like it, but you remain in financial bondage.
You know, Kabelo, he made a very, very important point that of Emma resolutions. You know, most of our resolutions is I want to lose weight, I want to join the gym, but none of them, well, only a few, but when the Emma resolutions, I would say I want to start saving from January. Why do you think that's the case? Why do we always have this mentality and mindset?
The mirror effect. Again,
the mirror effect,
it is the
right?
mirror effect.
Yeah.
The fact that, and I think that right now, the way we are with money, we are very emotional when it comes to money and spending. When I think of spending, I'm thinking, I want to feel good right now.
I know, right?
You know, I want to go to the mall, I want to get my nails done, I want to do, everything is about emotions. But
Retail
the thing
therapy.
is, retail therapy,
Yeah.
that is our,
It's killing
like,
us.
it is really killing us. And we're not realizing it, that it is slowly killing us. That we don't want to come to terms with the reality. If at all, right now, I'm saying I want to buy a car, can I really afford to buy a certain car? No, I never want to stick to my lane. I always want to go above and beyond. But I mean, I'm Kabelo. I cannot be caught driving a smaller nyana car. You know, I need to be seen. So I think that that's also the kind of mentality that we have when it comes to money. And we somehow think that these things will pay themselves off. I don't know how, but we somehow think that they will pay themselves off.
And the thing about it is, if I use my slave analogy, we're all on the same plantation. So we are suffering together.
Together,
So,
Exactly, we have that
Why should I
mentality.
worry? Okay, then once in a while you see a fellow slave pay the master and escape or become free. It's like, I won, but we're all together.
But all together.
Misery loves company.
So why should we worry? You know?
Yeah.
But the truth is, there are people who are doing something about it. So the thing about it is, I always say it on some of my tweets, when you're doing something, don't tell anyone. Just do it. And it's the same thing with your financial New Year's resolution. Don't tell anyone, just start doing it. And sometimes it's the guilt of knowing that you're so behind where you should be. But the main thing is to simply get started. I can't lose 20 kilos in 1 month, but if I start saying 2 kgs a month, you know, in a year, I'll be where I want to be.
Oh, yes.
So it's the same thing with your finances. But the most important part, I'm telling, you know, a lot of people this year for 2020 Set Me Free is get financial advice. And how are you going to get set free? Firstly, your life insurance policies, your bank accounts, get someone to look at them and tell you, Are they the right ones for you? Was your underwriting done properly, or was there some sales guy who just shika you and you signed and initialed and you're holding worthless policies? That's one thing. Second part of setting yourself free is involve your family.
Okay.
Financial infidelity, husbands and wives who don't talk to each other about money. Problem. You need to actually go and confess. You know what, sweetie? Christmas. You thought the money was from work, but no, it was our savings. Actually, it was a mashonisa. You know, get into that mode where we speak about money freely in our relationships. So setting yourself.
But I guess just to digress, Gerald, there's this thing called indoda must. You know, indoda must. A man needs to hustle. I don't have to tell my family where I got the money from, but indoda must.
Indoda suffers alone after that.
Indoda suffers alone, right?
Because I mean, right now we are really talking about mental health as well when it comes to men, and those are the kind of things that actually contribute to that. Because the man is like thinking, I'm under so much pressure. I need kids, need clothes, wife now wants this, family at home. They're also looking at me that it is my responsibility to build the home back at home. So those are the kind of things that we actually need to think about. That when you speak to your partner, you actually say, "This is the reality, sweetheart. We are in this together, right?" So if at all we are in this together, if I spend 100 Rand, you need to know that I'm spending 100 Rand and this is where it's coming from.
Right. And again, she raised a very pertinent issue with regards to mental health, because mental health could be caused by so many things. You know, it could be problems at home, but most importantly, it's the money.
Number one reason for suicide, finances. Number one reason for divorce, finances. Sometimes infidelity linked to finances because you're getting lunch from a better place and you eventually think you want to go there and try something new. But number one reason for most relationship breakdowns is finances. And now it's affecting our children because children have also become consumers. So now you have a situation where it's not just the wife putting you under pressure, your children also put you under pressure, your family is putting you under pressure. Everybody wants. And we need to start, just debunking and simply saying, what are your limitations?
Yes.
Everyone has a limit. And once you accept who you are and your limit, you can start building from there. Okay. And it's painful to watch how we allow ourselves to slide to a point where we lose everything. Okay. And we like watching those TV shows about people who've lost it all and saying, if I had $1 million, I would never do the same thing. 9 out of 10, you'd do something similar. So
or even worse.
Or even worse. Yeah. So we need to really embrace 2023, 20 set me free. Get yourself your professional financial planner, sit down, do your confession, do your mirror check, and start living and taking control of your finances. If your children are at schools which are pushing you to the limit, find a good state school where you have change after you've paid school fees. You know, if you're driving that expensive car which is killing you, downgrade. Buy a Xinjiang or even a second-hand car which you can basically afford. Number 3, if you're living in an area which is too much, the rates are killing you, move back home. Move back.
There's no shame in that, hey?
There is no shame in going back Ekasi as long as you know that now I am financially free.
Now that, Gerald, we're in the first week of January 2023, and for those who might have exceeded those limitations and overlooked what you've already outlined, what options do they have? Because schools are opening in the next couple of weeks, and rent has to be paid for some. So what options do they have?
Look, I think, with schools, go tell them that this is my child's last term here. If it's a bank you owe money, you call them and you tell them, you know what, from next month, I can't afford this loan. Maybe I need a payment holiday or something. I need help.
Okay. All right. Let's leave it there for now. We'll continue that discussion in a moment. Please do join us after this break. Yilungelo Lakho. Futhi mbukeli ke ngithaza kunadisa ukuthi ihlelo lanamhla asilusakade bukhoma ngenhlanhla lembi, so we will not be able to take your participation calls. Kepha ke ungahlanganyela nathi ke ku Facebook nangabe kunembuto ungawusaphatha lo mbuto lo ku Facebook. Tikhona ke tini ntetfu namhla titawuzama ke ukusita kulelo hlangothi. Namhla ke sina Gerald Mwandiambira, independent financial expert. Siphinde sibe na Kabelo Teme from the office of the Credit Ombudsman. Stawudzingisa ke indzaba ukuthi-ke ingabe nangabe utitfola sowusembinjini ngenzaba yokuthi-ke sowusakate yonke imali ngakhisimusi yini lokumele ukuthi ukwende. What are the options that are in your disposal? One may argue that another option could be taking a loan, just to bridge finance in order to get by kule nyanga January. Would you have, is that a good option?
Well, we can't run away from it. Honestly, truthfully speaking, they do. Consumers, we do run for that option because you're thinking, I'm not going to go to my mom, I'm not going to go to relatives, I'm just simply going to go and get credit. The thing is, the dangers about that, though, is that we don't plan for it. And sometimes it may sound a little bit crazy, you plan for credit. No, you get credit because I'm desperate right now.
Yes.
But the question is, when you do get that credit, at the end of the month, remember, there's a monthly installment that you need to start paying.
Yes.
Can I afford that monthly installment? Because that means that whatever monthly installment that I'm going to pay is going to get out from my monthly income. And sometimes we don't consider that if at all the monthly installment is 500, that means that whatever money I've got, whatever expenditures, that means that 500 is going to come out of my money.
Right.
So sometimes we don't think about it in that way. We're just thinking, no, they're going to give me a loan and then life is going to continue. And when you do that, though, another thing, because I know that sometimes if you find yourself that, oh, I can't kind of qualify to get that loan. Let me kind of go to my shonisa, and somebody who will give me a loan quickly. They will not do a proper assessment. And then after that, I've got the money that I need right now. Yes, right at that moment, you will be happy. It would have solved the problem for short term. But for long term, what will it mean for you as a consumer? You do not want to find yourself in a situation where now you are paying exorbitant interest fees, whereas you could have actually just said, you know what, let me probably then take a payment holiday, for instance, because those are one of the options, part of the options that are there for you as a consumer.
Aha, she just mentioned a payment holiday. Are you a fan of that?
Look, I think, I'd rather you negotiated lower payments or better condition and terms on the debt you already have than going to get a new one. Because the debt you already have is your limit. So you don't want to go get more debt and stretch yourself. You'd rather go to the person you pay 1,000 rand a month and say, you know what, times are hard for me. I'm going to start paying you 800 a month. They will complain, they will bark, they will threaten sheriffs and lawyers. Ultimately, they want their money back. So they will always say yes. Obviously, you need to go with humility. So you can't go with an arrogant attitude and saying, hey, take it or leave it. No, they'll show you their teeth. But if you go with a spirit of communication and saying, no, things are rough, they will normally compromise and work with you. Yes. Because most people, when you take a loan, you're saying, I'm going to get a better job, don't worry. And say, yes, I'll suffer 3 months, but by 4 months, 5 months, I'll have a new job. And when that doesn't happen, you're out, you're down and out. So yes, if you take out a loan, can you afford it? Affordability, very important. But if that's not an option, rather negotiate your existing debt so that you either pay a lower payment or you get some sort of payment break or holiday, which allows you to clear some debt. So when you get the payment holiday, it doesn't mean spend that month. You get 3 months holiday. Take the 3 months I was going to pay to Kabelo and I paid to Lerato.
Okay.
And I finish Lerato's debt so that by the time I start needing to pay Kabelo again, Lerato is gone. Okay. That's how a payment holiday should work for you. So you want to negotiate a payment holiday when you know, okay, I pay 4,000 rand on my car every month, and I've never missed a payment. It's always good to negotiate while you're still in good standing. When you've never missed a payment, they have no problem saying, okay, I know. It's fine, Spiwe, we know you pay every month. Not when you've missed 6 months and you're saying, give me another 3 months. Then like, when are you joking? Yeah. So you need to go, whilst you're still in good standing financially, negotiate your holiday. Because they know they can give you up to 3 months, because under the credit law, it's 90 days before you're in default. Yes. So they can give you up to 3 months without it jeopardizing your account. Yes. And it's not a right, but it's a privilege. So if you've been a good payer and I pay 5,000 a month on a car, that's how I know I can get maybe 2 months break, 10,000. That 10,000, I find one of my small debts, I kill it off quickly. Right. And then when I have to start paying again in the 3rd month, at least the smaller debt is gone. That's why I'm saying do it with advice. Yes. Because you need someone who can look at your finances and see where the opportunities for us to basically help you to get out of debt. You don't want to go when it's too late. By the time you go to a debt counselor and you're missing payments, you're going to have problems because you end up calling Kabelo at the National Credit Ombudsman with the problems which she hears every day.
Yeah, no, yeah. And I see both of you have just, gave me a glowing account of the pros of a holiday, payment holiday. So I'm sure there are disadvantages, are there?
No, definitely. Payment holiday requires you to have discipline.
Yeah.
I mean, the way that Gerald just explained it is quite great because you like, I've got the payment holiday, the money that I am actually getting relief from, let me put it into another account so that you can pay it off. Because you want to be debt-free at the end of the day. Nobody wants to be stuck in debt. With the payment holiday, what you need to ask yourself, though, is that, and actually rather not yourself, but rather your bank or where you're actually, your credit provider, always ask then, how much longer then? If at all I'm saying that I'm taking a break for 3 months, does it mean that it will extend my payment term? Yes, it will. Because the 3 months, you have to actually go back and actually pay it back. And then when it comes to interest as well, how much interest is it actually going to charge you as a consumer? So those are the kind of things that you need to talk about with your bank. I always say, as consumers, can we not shy away from communicating? Because like Gerald said, you nip it in the bud, it's better than having to wait, and when the problem is now bigger, and then you're like, actually, I think now I want to go and talk to my credit provider. Talk, have a good relationship. You want to have, it's like if at all right now, right, I borrow you borrow me money, and then Gerald borrows money from you. Sure. And I have to pay you back, and then I pay you back. But Gerald gives you the runaround. Like, I don't call you, I don't tell you. You become very frustrated with Gerald because you're thinking, shit, this man does not want to pay me back. So that's exactly the same with us as consumers. The relationship we have with our credit providers, we need to have that open communication.
Okay, all right. Let's leave it for now. Mbukeli, asesishilela ngasetitolo ungasanyakathi. Leli Yilungelo Lakho. Don't you move a muscle. Welcome back. Khumbula ke mbukele ukuthi lihlelo lethu namhla alusakadwa bukhoma kungako ke angeke sikwathi kuthatha tincingo tenu kepha ke ungasithinza ku Facebook sachubeka futhi nenkulumo yethu namhla about financial health nekuthi ke nangabe udikhanza usempinjini ngenzaba ukuthi kuspende yonke imali ngakhisimusi. What are the options at your disposal? Now Gerald, I know that you and I have conversed on so many times on so many platforms about good debt and bad debt. What is the difference between the two, and which route should consumers go for?
Look, a good debt is simply money which makes more money. So if I borrow money to build a room, that room can be good debt because I'm going to get an income from that room every month. Plus, I'm going to get growth or capital appreciation because the value of that room also increases every month. Good debt. Bad debt, going and buying a pizza. Okay, on a credit card, so that you can impress people that you're the man. Okay, buying a triple deckers 6, showing your malume is here. But you're going to pay off that pizza for the next 24 months, paying pizza, and painfully paying pizza. Bad debt. Bad debt, buying an expensive car. The moment I drive it out of the showroom, depreciates by 20%. Gone. Every month it's depreciating. Yet every month I'm paying an installment plus interest, and worse, I choose a balloon payment because I couldn't afford the car in the first place. So I said, give me balloon. It's okay as long as I can drive out. Bad debt. Bad debt is any debt that leads to no growth in your wealth. Any good debt is something, borrowing money from your spirit to start a business. That's a good debt because I don't expect my business to fail. It can fail, but I could be the next entrepreneur who's a billionaire. So that's how you differentiate between good and bad debt. Good debt normally results in income and capital appreciation and growth. Bad debt simply leads to poverty and makes you join the plantation, and you can eat poverty with a knife and fork.
Yeah. You couldn't have put it better. You couldn't have put it better. But then it gets tricky, and I want to engage both of you on this. I'm glad that you made this analogy, this credit card and pizza analogy, because, people have always been told that you need to have debt, you need to have credit for you to have a good credit profile. Because if I want to buy a house or if I want to buy a car, I need to have a good credit profile. So for me to have a good credit profile, I need to get myself into debt.
Yes, it doesn't mean go get over indebted though. And when you say good debt, if you've got the credit card, it's fine, it's okay. Debt management. That is the important thing. You need to be able to manage.
So the most important thing is debt management. Yes. Not necessarily would say we shouldn't go for debt. We shouldn't take a credit card.
No.
Okay.
The thing about it is with debt, to get a good credit score, it's just to say that you pay your debts on time and you keep your word.
Yes.
That's what a credit score is.
Yes.
Spiwe pays his debts on time he's honorable.
Yes.
So it doesn't need to be a big debt. It can be a small debt, 1,000 rand, and you pay it off over 6 months, and you show Kuti, I can pay back money when I borrow. That's all you're doing. And you can improve your credit score in many ways, paying more than you actually are required to pay.
Okay.
They give you more points for doing that.
Okay.
Okay?
Maybe add 100 rand
Yes.
more or 50 rand more, whatever it
They
can
give
be.
you more points when they ask you for your bank statements. Do you know what they do? They look at your bank statement and they see what you do every month. You don't have returned debit orders, more points for that. And your money lasts until end of the month, more points for that.
Yeah.
And you know how I can do that? Spread out my debit orders. So instead of debit order happening 25, I can have one that happens on 25, one that happens on 10, one that happens on 19.
Really?
Okay. Now, when they look at my statement, I've got money the whole month. Okay. I get more points for that. But
Okay.
as Kabelo said,
Okay.
discipline. Because if you're going to be that person, you have to have discipline. What else do they look at when they look at your credit card? They see my swipe behavior. Swipe at 4 a.m. Eh?
Eshisa nyama,
Hey,
uphi, uphi.
stop. Hey! They are not silly, these banks. They tell you that they tell you they don't consider those things, but they do. So if you're that person who likes going out, withdraw money at the ATM before you go out. Don't withdraw at 4 a.m. or don't be going at the liquor outlet where you look like you're a top payer, but you're not. You're a top shayela eating money. You know what I mean? With a knife and fork. You know? So that's how you improve your credit score. Just those 3 things. Spread out your debit orders. Pay more than you're required to pay. Manage your cash in terms of when you withdraw and when you spend on your bank statement. Already, I can get you a house in 3 months just by changing your behavior, not increasing your money, just your behavior. Because when they look at that statement, we just think they just want to see how much I earn. That's the last thing they look at. They look at your whole behavior. They've even got computers which run these things called algorithms, which look at you and say, 4 a.m. No, thank you.
That's a red flag.
No, red flag.
Yeah.
So these things, they matter. But most importantly, when they say you can also build your credit profile by simply having a savings account. Because on your check account, it's regarded as a credit. So if you save money in your check account and your check account has lots of money in there, that's positive. If you open a tax-free savings account and you're putting money every month, that's positive.
Okay.
So you don't necessarily need debt to get a good credit score. You can also simply present those same people and say, look, I've got a tax-free savings account.
Oh, okay.
I save money in these 3 savings accounts. Those things add up towards your credit score without you having to buy a cell phone which flips and then you are broke.
Okay, that's a very great perspective, that you don't always need to get into debt to get a credit profile. And I'm going to get your perspective after this break, Kabelo. Mbukeli asiphinda sibuye la ngasethitolo, hlala kanye nathi. Leli Yilungelo Lakho. Sikwamukele futhi mbukeli, namhla-ke sikhuluma ngesimo setimali ngalesikhathi-ke sokucala somnyaka noma ngesikhathi saJanuwari. Kuthiwa-ke it's the longest month of the year. Yini-ke tintfo longadenda kumelana nalesimo lesimatema lesinjengalesi setimali? Please note that this program was recorded earlier, therefore we're not able to take your calls. Now, Kabelo, I just need to get your perspective on what good and bad debt is.
When it comes to bad debt, anything that finances your lifestyle, that is bad debt. If at all I'm going to take out, like for instance, if I made the example of buying a car. If I don't have to buy a car that is expensive, if you're paying a balloon payment, I always say that you can't afford that car. You simply cannot afford that car. And you plan, you plan ahead for getting into stuff like that. And I think that that's another problem that we have as consumers, that we fail to plan. We just don't like planning. And the thing is, the beauty and the wonder of actually having to plan is the fact that when I plan and I achieve my goals, it gives you that thrill that, wait a minute, if I could achieve that goal, that means I'm going to go ahead and do something else. And I mean, the purpose, part of the purpose of the National Credit Act is to help us as South Africans to advance in life. You know? So when you go out, that means that credit is meant to do that. It's meant to help you advance in life. And if at all I am going to buy pizza in a credit card, no, you are not advancing. Your body is, but you are not advancing in life, you know? So those are the kind of things that you need to consider each and every single time. You think, okay, let me make use of credit, but wait a minute, in the long run, how is this going to affect me? How is this going to make a change in my financial status right now? If it's not going to do that, go for lay-by then if you have to. Save money instead for the things that you want. You can even save for a good deposit for buying a car that you can afford. You know, those are the kind of things that we need to do. And can we also practice patience? Because I think that the reason why we are so over-indebted is that we are not patient. We just want things now. And because, and then after that, we overwhelm ourselves because I want a car now, I want a house now, I want to put my kids in expenses. Everything is now. Because, hey, social media, right?
Hey, Shwena, you're doing it for the gram.
Born.
Everything is done for the gram, and when she said the word plan, I like to create acronyms.
Yeah.
P, get a person to help you. Yes. I help people every day. I charge fees for my time, but I don't sell you policies. I don't want you to be in debt. I won't sell you a policy, but I'm going to help you in terms of understanding, Kabelo, we're going to get this car in 18 months. Be patient, my love. We'll do it, okay? L, create a legacy.
Oh, yes.
Festive period, many people left us.
Oh, yes.
And there's many young children, widows and children and orphans who have nothing. Create that legacy. Get that person who's going to come and say, let's talk legacy. If you're going to get a policy, let's make sure these children never suffer. None of my clients are going to, children are going to suffer and have my name associated. I can't. A, change your attitude. Attitude is about, Spiwe, I don't want to be your friend anymore. Because you are the pizza eater. Whenever I come to your house, you want pizza. Yeah, you're the first person to say, let's buy Saint-Tropez and the drinks they put on their heads. You know? What nonsense is this? Attitude. Change it. 20 set me free. I'm going to be around positive people who want us to create wealth. N, biggest lesson in life, learn to say no. Yes. When you say you want pizza, I say no. Let's go buy court. That's African pizza.
Yes.
Yeah.
And very nice, just as nice as the actual pizza.
Yeah.
And there's so much in the word no, actually, because when you think about it, even with our families, I did say earlier on the pressures of family, sometimes there's the reason why we spend so much when it comes to December time, when it comes to expectations as well. I mean, if at all I'm saying that I'm going to go back home, then they're like, okay, good. No, you should come back home. That means that now we need the roof to be fixed. We need this to be fixed. And you think, I'm here to get relief, not to actually spend more. So sometimes you actually need to say, no, guys, we are not going to do this. We are going to do it my way. If we're going to make use of my money, we'll do it my way. And we will plan and take time.
But guys, we certainly cannot turn our back to the emotional element of spending money. You made a very good example, that of black tax. It's aptly called black tax because I need to fix my parents' house, I need to take care of my parents, do ABC. In as much as it does dig a deep hole in my pocket, but that's the emotional element of spending money. Should we turn our backs on that?
Don't turn your back. I'm the person who helps you with your money. And I'll tell you, Spirit, we've got 2,000 a month for your family. They must get used to it. They must make a plan. And instead of spending money on a roof, go buy them chairs, go buy them a jumping castle, go buy them something to rent out so that they get more income. Let's stop this dependency syndrome. So that's one of the things you can do. Part of the attitude also is close your mouth. The reason why they know you've got money is because every month you show it.
Motor mouth.
And you tell them, hey, I got a new job, 80,000 a month. Yeah. Hey, what do you think? They've got 80,000 reasons to be your friend.
Of course.
Okay? So part of your attitude in 20 set me free. Close your mouth. Stop talking too much. Take yourself off the gram and talking. Because when you put that picture, you're talking. I was there. You know? I was eating money with a knife and fork. No. And
you're going to be eating poverty with a fork and knife.
Take yourself off the gram. Kabelo said she doesn't watch the news because she doesn't want things which are going to lower her spirit. Same thing, attitude. Take those people out in 2023. Have a year of peace. Have a year of time with your wife and your children. And enjoy your life. Cancel the world. 20 set me free. Cancel the plantation. Because the slave master is not going anywhere. He wants you to work for him. They know what they're doing, these slave masters. And they've known all along. I'm here to say, let's set ourselves free and let's start knowing what they don't want us to know about money and set ourselves free. Part of the reason of setting ourselves free is watching programs like this and going on and doing research, buying books, finding how can we beat them at their own game. And the thing about it, as I like what you said, you were a bit selfish earlier. I said, think about me. 20 set me free. Think about you and your family. Be selfish. Money is selfish. And if you want to set yourself free from debt, you need to be ruthless in a way, in terms of how you limit your expenditure, but you need to put yourself first. We may all be working here at the SABC together, jumping into cars, but we all don't know who's carrying what on their back.
Oh, yes.
Think about what you're
I
doing.
actually think it's an act of love. When you think about it, as much as it may sound harsh that no, I'm going to say no to my family, but it's also an act of love because you're teaching them as well about money management.
as well.
Yes. So in the long run, they will actually see, wait a minute, but this was actually beneficial. You are teaching them how to fish. You're not giving them the fish. So I think that if we actually teach each other and actually accept such teachings, and trust me, we will become so much better. Even our economy will become so much better.
Indeed. I want us to discuss, just after the break, I wanted to discuss, those slave masters who keep throwing credit in our faces. All right, let's take a final ad break. Asasihlangane nasisibuye ngasetitolo leli Yilungelo Lakho. Welcome to our very last segment. On how to get out of the financial hole that you ostensibly had put yourself in as a result of overspending about December. All right, just before we went to that break, I wanted both of you to talk about, those slave masters, slave drivers who constantly throw credit onto our faces. Just now, I was opening my app and I've been offered credit from this particular bank that I bank with. So what do I do if I am a consumer who's very, very much constrained?
No.
So I just say no.
It's just no. I mean, earlier on, we spoke about plans. If at all, I get an SMS like that and says, okay, we are offering you this amount of money. Will it fit in my plan? Do I need this? Because remember, your plan is so that you can grow, right? Your plan is so that you can prosper at the end of the day. If at all this money is not going to actually be beneficial to my growth, then rather say no. Because the 100,000, it's not for free. You're not. They're not saying no. We are giving you money.
It's not a grant.
Go
it's
and
not a
do
gift.
you with the 100. No, it's not a gift. The 100,000 might actually mount up to so much more because of this interest. There are fees. All of those things that you need to consider before you actually say, yeah, okay, no, I'll take it. Right now in December, I promise you will get a whole lot of. Right now in January, actually, we will get a whole lot of those SMSs because they are trying to set you free. Right? You need the help. You need the extra help. You need the extra money. But you need to actually say no because I've already made my plan.
What if I try to change that around? You'd say, oh, okay, now I'm offering 100,000. Let me think of what business I can start.
Now you're thinking positively. I like that. I don't mind borrowing money to create income, as long as it's a safe investment and not some guy telling you about Forex or Bitcoin, where you're going to be crying, calling me, telling me, why didn't you tell me? No. Building a room where I know I'm going to make 2,000 rand a month and I borrowed 100,000 and I built 4 rooms or 5 rooms and I'm making 2.5 each room and my installment is less than the amount I get every month. Go for it. Use their money against them. Otherwise, get angry, Spiwe. The bank said they want to give you 40,000. Why can't they give you 40,000 in one? Because you don't qualify. So that's your limit. How dare they tell me I can only get 40,000? Is that my limit in life? Get angry. So if you're going to get angry when you see these SMSs, you either take that money and use it against them to make more money, or you realize how the system sees you as an underling. You're only worth 100,000.
How?
Hey, I can't get my dream house because they said I am not good enough a slave.
How?
I am going to liberate myself and I'm building my house and I'm doing it with their money. These slave masters, they take our money in a deposit and they lend it at 25%, yet in my current account they give me 4%. What's happening to the other 21%?
What's happening to the other 21%?
Okay.
Good question.
So it's not reckless lending because they do it within the confines of the law which they wrote. It's called reckless borrowing. You are the one who went with your eyes open and took that money and signed. And now when they are calling you and they're saying they want their money, you're acting like they are the devil. They're not. You went and you ate it with a knife and fork. Go and accept your responsibility. All I'm saying is in 20, set me free, throw away the knives and fork. Let's be Africans who eat with our hands.
There we go. There we go.
Can't put it better than that.
Never. Your thoughts, Kabelo?
When it comes to reckless lending, honestly, I mean, as the Office of the Credit Ombud, we do take matters like that, where we get a consumer who honestly says that a proper affordability assessment was not done. And I feel that, you know what, these people gave me this loan and I cannot simply afford it. And we actually do get cases where we actually say, yes, indeed, this was reckless lending, because we look at for the fact that when you do an affordability assessment, they ask for your 3 months bank statement, they'll ask for your payslip, they ask for, they look at your credit record as well. When they look at your bank statement, that is a true reflection of how much you actually spend each and every single month. So if at all, I am going to say as Kabelo, no, but I want this loan, I want this credit. So I'm not going to put on the application, I'm going to say, I spend 500 Rand for my groceries. Whereas I know for a fact that I spent 1,000 Rand.
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
the credit provider is meant to actually look at my bank statement and do a proper affordability assessment to check whether indeed what I wrote in my application is true. But sometimes because the credit provider is thinking, I want the sale, so I'm going to give it to you anyway. But then at the end of the month, you realize as a consumer, wait a minute, but I actually can't afford this. We check all of that as a credit
And having said
ombud.
that, at what point then do I approach your office? Say Bank A has just given me a loan that I cannot afford, but I decided to take it anyway. So do I approach your office before or after accepting that loan?
I mean, you, at this point, you actually can approach us at any moment when you realize that indeed this was reckless lending as a consumer. And I mean, yes, all the banking matters go to the banking ombuds, but when it comes to all your
Not when they've
non-bank,
sent debt collectors my way.
please no, nip it in the bud. Always remember that rather earlier than later, because sometimes we
Yeah.
think that we want to run away. As a consumer, can you remember that being responsible means that I acknowledge the fact that I came to you as a credit provider needing help, and therefore I'm going to be responsible and keep to my part of the agreement, which is to pay you back. If I'm not going to pay you back and I'm going to run away, what does that say about me?
Yes.
You know, more than anything, I think that for me, that is my problem. That what does it say about Kabelo? I don't want to be painted in that light that Kabelo is a person who's irresponsible and they are not accountable for their actions. So be an accountable consumer and say, I am going to pay my debts. If I can't pay my debt, I'm going to go and communicate that I can't. Can we talk this out? Let us sit down and reason together.
Sure. So, Gerald, in closing, how do we strike a balance between spending and saving?
All I can say is let's embrace advice. As South Africans, money is one of the things we've tried to keep to ourselves. Let's embrace getting professional financial planning advisors who can help us and coach us in how to manage our finances. And let's not be afraid to pay them for that service.
Yes.
Don't go to a salesperson who's going to sell you something. Go to someone who's genuinely going to get you out of debt and help you. And as Kabelo said, let's nip it in the bud. Don't go to a debt counselor when you're deep in debt. Go now when you can see, no, the signs are there, I need help. And it's not something to be ashamed, seeking financial help in terms of somebody helping you to go through your monthly budget and talking you through the system. Because it is a system. It's a system that was designed to keep others in bondage whilst others enjoy life. Let's try and cross the river this year and actually set ourselves free from debt.
Indeed. Your thoughts, Kabelo, as you wrap the show?
No, honestly, when it comes to that, we always have to think that when it comes to budgeting, it's about you having control over your finances. And sometimes that is the issue, that we sometimes feel that I don't have control, I don't know what I'm doing. And that's why it's always advisable, get a financial advisor. Because guess what? They know, they work with these things each and every single day, so that you don't overwhelm yourself, so that you don't go and think, but I don't know what I'm doing. Get that financial advisor who will direct you in where you need to go, where you are going. And getting a financial advisor, because you're paying this person, trust me, you will stick to that plan. You will stick to that plan because you paid for that plan. And tomorrow, 10 years down the line, when you think about it 10 years back, the changes that you would have made today, 10 years back, you would have been so much further right now.
Right. Kabelo and Gerald, as always, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a beautiful conversation, and we certainly hope that it helped so many consumers out there who are constrained. Khumbule ke mbukele ukuthi ke nangabe udla i-fork and knife nyalo, usebenzisa i-fork and knife nyalo, kepha awusakhoni downgrader. Let's go back to our African roots. Udle ngesandla. Downgrade whatever you have that's is constraining you, just get rid of it. Kwanyalo ke mbukeli sesifikele amaphezulu enhlelo lethu namhla. Ngithanza bonke ke tivakashi lethu futhi kuba ngeke banathi kuze kube ngimanje. Ngiphinze ngibuke kanye nani babukele ngoba nathi kuze kube ngimanje. Asihlangane futhi ngesikhathi sesitaku lapho ke sitabe sinilethela ke lenye ke indzaba lithinza wena nimalunge akho njengomthengi. Mina ke ngisimpiwe Ngcongwane. Thank you so much for watching. Sithi ke nisala kahle. Wishing you a great 20 Set Me Free. Have a good one, everybody. Cheers.
Yilungelo Lakho.